Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome back to GaysideStories, where the gay shit goes. And if you're like me, it's where the gay shit goes to die. I am your host, Trilificent. Thank you so much for joining me for another week. I want to remind everyone to please use the hashtag GaysidePod when you're live tweeting or posting about the show on your social media. Thank you to everyone that does that. Something new, really quick. I am doing an audience survey. I want to get a glimpse of the kind of listeners that I have, the different demographics and whatnot. So I would ask everyone to please take a few minutes out of your day when you're listening to the show, or when you get done listening to the show, whenever you have some time to spare, and go and take this survey. You can get to the survey at bit.ly/GaysideSurvey. That link will be in the show notes, and it is also on the website, GaysideStories.com, under the extras header. So, with all of the housekeeping out of the way for now, I have a guest, and I'm excited about this guest. I'm excited about this show. So, special guest, please introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is Darius. I go by Darius Amore online, and
sorry, I couldn't resist.
It's all right. And that's my real name. It's not one of those, I moved out of town and decided to change my name and my persona. That is my real name. So yeah,
that was okay. Sure.
they do it. They do it.
I was just gonna say, it's not a stage name, but okay,
Nope.
You went a different direction, and that's fine. That's okay. That's fine. That is so. Thank you so much for joining me. I am, like I said, I'm excited about this, and I'm excited about having you on the show. So, without any further ado, let's get into some of these segments. First up, the School and Life segment. A quick reminder, you guys, the School and Life segment is something that I like to highlight that helped me get through the week, or maybe something that I'm looking forward to that is helping me get through my week. So my School and Life this week is I am looking forward to a trip to Dallas. I have not been on any kind of trips in quite some time, and I feel like it's past time for me to just get out of this city and breathe some different air. Hopefully it don't stink. And Dallas is not a city that I've ever really explored. As long I've lived in Texas all my life, and Dallas is not as close to Houston as people seem to think. Texas is really, really fucking big. Right. Dallas is a good 4 hours. Now, 4 hours to me is not far, but it's not close. It's not like I'm just going to be like, okay, well, I'm just going to go to Dallas. I mean, people do that all the time because, again, especially living in Houston, being so big, long distance driving is not as big of a deal to us. Mm-hmm. But it's also not one of those, well, I'm just going to, get in the car and I'll be in Dallas in 20 minutes. Like, no, it's still a good 4 hours, maybe 3 hours and 15 minutes, 3.5 hours, depending on how you drive.
Right.
But so I'm looking forward to going and just being somewhere different and enjoying that for a couple of days. And I will report back on the shenanigans after that trip.
What's the situation? Are you just going just to get away, or are you going to for a specific reason? Like, is there an event there? Or
no, I'm just going to get away.
That's what's up.
Yeah. So, and I believe that I'm going to be able to link up with my friend Candace that I do the Ratchet Ramblings podcast with. She's going to coincidentally be there around the same time. So, be on the lookout for the niggatry. Yeah. And that's
what's up.
That's my School in Life. What about you?
My School in Life is I have actually been on vacation for the last, 6 or 7 days. I unintentionally took 10 days off of work. And nobody knew that I was off. I've literally been hiding out in my house, doing nothing every day. I've been doing little things like paying bills here and there. I'll go for a walk. I'll go to the store. But other than that, just been like watching trash TV because my schedule can get really ridiculous. So this past week or so has been just amazing. So
Come
yes.
through, staycation.
Okay, it's been great. Like I have to go back to work on Monday, but you know how like you take a vacation and you dread going back. Like I don't feel like that because I've been gone for so long. Like I just feel like
10 days. That's a real vacation.
It really, it really is. But again, had somebody known that I was off, like they would be like, "Oh, well, come through. Well, you ain't got nothing to do." You know, like no, I just been keeping, staying off the radar and minding my business.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good to me. Swell, even.
It's been great.
All right, so we're gonna move on to the next segment. That is the Come Quick segment.
I'm gonna come, sir. Oh yeah.
So this week we're gonna do something a little different. I came across a couple of articles that I wanted to talk about on the show. So the first article is entitled "Texas Jury Gave a Man No Prison Time Because quote unquote Gay Panic Drove Him to Kill." Don't know if you've seen this, but yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I know what you're laughing at, and it just sounds so ridiculous. But anyway,
we've all been there, but I never wanted to kill anybody.
No, we have not all been there. Let's not say that. We've not all been there. But
no, I mean we've all had like gay rage and but I never wanted to kill anybody.
I don't know what gay rage is.
I mean, you just all gay things that cause you to just be over it.
I think you might be misunderstanding what the gay panic is. So let me run through the story.
Okay, let me read it. Let me hear it now.
So here's the statistics of the story. It's a 69-year-old former policeman named James Miller, and he stabbed his 32-year-old neighbor Daniel Spencer to death 2 years ago after Spencer allegedly tried to kiss him. So Miller claimed that he feared for his life. However, the reason why they call it the gay panic defense is because killing a gay person over sexual advances is known as the gay panic defense.
I've never heard about this in my life.
Yeah. And it is actually banned in California and Illinois thanks to efforts by the National LGBT Bar Association. So basically what happened was, from what was in the article, the man, Miller, and the neighbor, Spencer, were at Spencer's house playing guitar. Miller claims that the man tried to kiss him. He dodged it or whatever. And then supposedly the man tried to attack him with a glass or something like that. Coincidentally, he ended up stabbing the man in the back 2 times and killing him. So the jury... I
wish you could see my face.
Indeed. I can imagine, because same. So the jury accepted Miller's version of events. They found him guilty of criminally negligent homicide, a lesser charge than manslaughter that's usually applied to those who contribute to a person's death by refusing to render aid or take necessary precautions. Miller was sentenced to 10 years probation, 6 months jail time, 100 hours of community service, and an $11,000 fine of restitution to Spencer's family, and a requirement to wear a portable alcohol breathalyzer device for 1 year.
Okay, wait. Back up just for a second. Mm-hmm. This is called gay what?
Gay panic.
Okay, see, I was all the way off. I thought gay panic and gay rage was when the water won't get clear after 17 tries or something like that, or the line is extremely long at Bulldogs.
No. We're talking about something serious here. No, not
Jesus. That's why I'm like, what?
So
that's insane.
Yeah. So a little bit more about gay panic. So there's gay panic and its sister or brother or whatever you want to call it, trans panic. And those are defenses that are often used in the hopes of getting charges reduced or leniency in sentencing. So basically it's when one of our trans sisters gets killed and the man, because it's usually a man, it's usually a black man if it's a black trans woman, saying, "Oh, she tricked me," or something of that nature. That's the trans panic. Like, I panicked because I didn't know she was trans. I panicked because he was coming on to me like a dude would do to a woman. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, last tidbit. David McConnell, the author of American Horror Killings, Desire and Rage Among Men, says the gay panic defense is also sexist, a cover for toxic masculinity, and just a defense for attacking already vilified second-class citizens. Yeah, so...
I'm speechless. I mean...
Yeah, when I read this, it just... I was still very confused because I'm like, if he's attacking you, how did he get stabbed in the back?
Right.
I'm confused. But somehow, some way, the jury believes him, and obviously there's nobody to speak for the now deceased Daniel Spencer.
Right.
So this man basically gets off with a slap on the wrist for killing his neighbor.
And to me, that's definitely rooted in some toxic masculinity shit, because you could have just said, "Hey, bro, not interested."
I mean, and that's if it even happened.
And went on about your day.
Yeah, that's if it even happened, because there's nobody to say otherwise. Just because I'm assuming that the man Daniel Spencer maybe was openly gay, because otherwise, I mean, I guess you could still use this anyway, but it makes more sense if one of them is known to be gay, because then people's prejudices will automatically pop out. Like, oh, he was gay. Yeah, I know how them gay men be doing. They can't keep it in their pants. They can't keep their hands off nobody, etc., etc. But looking at it, I don't know all the facts of the case. Maybe there was something in it that made the jurors think otherwise. But number one, it's Texas, and I can say that because I live here and it's trash. I'm not going to sit here and sugarcoat anything. Texas can be trash as hell. So that's number one. It's Texas. Number two, it's a jury, and it's usually, juries are pretty conservative. Even if they don't live conservative lives, they put out an outward conservative image. And number three, like I said last week in my friendly reminder, homophobia is real. There's a very real possibility that people on the jury believed this man's story just because of their preconceived notions of how gay men act, how they are. They know for a fact how gay men are. And a lot of them probably have never even interacted with the gay man, or if they did, it was on some, I don't know, some cliche shit. Oh, you like to go shopping, or something stupid like that. Or, hey, you watch Drag Race. Never having actually interacted and understood gay men. So I had to give it a side eye, because it just feels like there's so many instances where lives are being taken and there's no real punishment.
Right.
You know, and I don't know if it's just people are getting numb to people killing other people, or if it's one of those things where it's like, I mean, secretly, I feel like they got what they deserve, so I don't feel like he should have to pay for it, but it's just, I don't know.
Well, I also think, like, there's this misconception too, like this invisible threat that gay men are perverts and trans people are monsters, and their agenda is to, I don't know, kill, steal, and destroy. I don't know what the thought is behind it.
Yeah, that's what I said. That preconceived notion. What gay people or what people in the community, the LGBT community, are, what they do, what their agenda is, and this is how it comes out: that someone's life is taken, someone's son is taken away, someone's friend, someone's lover, or whatever he was to multiple people is gone, and the only thing you could say is, well, he tried to kiss me, so I had to kill him. Right.
And then the slap on the wrist reinforces that in the minds of a bunch of other people. Like, they think, it's justifiable because when this man should have the ultimate punishment for murdering another person.
Exactly. So
Wow.
that's something out there. Like I said last week, homophobia kills, transphobia kills, the jokes and everything, all of that kind of stuff. Ha ha, funny, funny. But this is where it's rooted.
It
You know,
100%.
you take something like this, and you can turn around and make a joke out of it for retweets and for ha-has, for LOLs, and for reposts on Instagram or whatever the case may be, or even in your comedic stand-up set. But there are people who are losing their lives.
And the outrage is minimal. Like, that's the part that upsets me too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I hadn't heard about this story at all.
Right.
But something like that should be like big news. You know what I'm saying? Even like when there was like a string or like a steady stream of black trans women being killed, and some of them were popping up in the news like here and there, and you know, there was starting to be, you know, a little bit of talk about, a little bit of uproar, and I'm like, why isn't this bigger? Why aren't we talking about this every day? Why aren't we starting campaigns to stop this? Like, it should be bigger news.
I agree. So,
wow.
I saw another article.
I'm gonna just be quiet for this next one until you give a full description.
Woo! Because you sure did assume.
I sure did. Jumped
Indeed.
right in there, didn't I?
You sure did.
Okay, I'll wait. I'm gonna put myself on pause for this one.
Okay, so this article says Jessica Chastain sums up the problem with the phrase "quote unquote" "be a man" in one tweet. So the tweet reads, "Can we please eliminate the phrase "stop crying, be a man"? The old-fashioned stereotype doesn't work. Let's cherish the vulnerabilities of men. Their lives depend on it. 121 Americans die by suicide each day, according to the Centers for Disease Control, and 93 of them are men." So I'm going to start off by saying that I've always hated that phrasing and that line of thinking. I remember growing up and having that told to me, you know, men, be a man, men don't cry, you know, men don't walk like that, men don't do this, men don't do that. And I've always internalized that. I've always hated being told that. And there have been times when I've had to check people around me using that phrasing and kind of being that line of thinking. And to be honest, usually it's a cis-het black woman, because they have it in their head that this is what a man is, and anything that deviates is trash, or I need to speak up about it. And it's like, at the same time, you're feeding into all of the negative aspects of men and of masculinity. It kind of feeds that toxic masculinity, because people have men in a box, and you don't allow them to express themselves. You don't allow them to be creative. You don't allow them to do the things that they want to do. You stifle them, and then you wonder why they unleash in unhealthy ways. You wonder why they drink. You wonder why they hit people. You wonder why they hate everyone. You wonder why they always have something bad to say, why they don't believe when something bad is happening to someone. But this is kind of like to me, this is where it starts. It starts all the way from damn near infancy. Be a man, be a man, be a man, be a man. This is what a man is. And I'm not saying that you can't influence or try to influence, you know, children to be masculine because you feel like they're a boy. But you have to let me say that because honestly, gay men are just as guilty of this as any other sect of people.
Truth.
We have to stop putting men in a box.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, there's a reason why there's that hashtag Black Boy Joy. Because so often black men are not able to find joy, or they're only able to find joy, allowed to find joy in a small number of ways. If it doesn't have something to do with sports, if it doesn't have something to do with women, then that's not the path you need to go, bro. You know what I mean? So I agreed with the tweet. You know, we need to let this idea of men don't have emotions and men shouldn't show emotion. Men shouldn't show weakness. Number one, let's get one thing straight. Crying is not an automatic sign of weakness. Okay?
Right.
Because I can attest to myself, when I get frustrated and when I get furious, I might leak from the orbital socket a bit. You know? And that doesn't mean I'm weak. More than likely, if you got me to the point where I'm so frustrated that it's coming out of my eyes versus my mouth, you might be in serious danger. And that's just real. But crying is not a sign of weakness, and anything that is vulnerable, showing vulnerability, that's not a weakness. You know, we've people have been saying this for years, but we have to keep saying it because just as, you know, there's 2-3 times as many people that will still say that's not how a man should act. And I don't want, you know, you see women on Twitter all the time. I don't want my man crying and da 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 da. He need to be a man and da 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 da. Who says that crying is not a reality for a real man?
Right.
He has emotions, complex emotions that he needs to express too. You know, we have to get away with this lie of emotions are a quote unquote female trait.
Exactly.
Only women exhibit emotions, and men, you know, men eat steak and potatoes, and that's just the end of it. It's like, no, like, because a lot of okay, let me reel it in.
I think parents and people often forget that, you know, crying and getting emotional is a human trait. It's not just a woman trait. It's not, you know, a punk trait, or, you know, whatever the names that they want to call you, whatever. It's a human trait. It's the way that our bodies, you know, express emotion in a healthy way. Like, tears never hurt anybody. They relieve stress, you know what I'm saying? They relieve emotion. And it further reinforces, you know, men to go out and kill people and burn shit down and shoot up schools, and, you know, because they're not allowed to just cry and be human and, you know, let their emotions come out, you know, in a natural, non-toxic, non-lethal way. I can't, if it has happened, I don't remember it, you know, personally. Like, my family, you know, I remember my family telling me not to play with dolls, but I don't remember them, you know, telling me not to cry. But I've seen it, you know, from different family members, different friends, you know, telling their kid, you know, their son, like, you know, you crying like a little girl, or stop all that crying like a little, you know, you acting like a little punk,
like a little bitch.
Right. And I'm sitting in the back like cringing, because I'm like, that's a child. Like, you know,
Children can cry. That's what they do.
It's what they do. I mean, you can encourage them to, you know, channel their energy into doing something else, or try to distract them or something. But, you know, they're going to cry. They're going to get upset. And having that natural emotion and letting that emotion, you know, run its course it's an okay thing. You don't have to block it with, you know, toxic ideals.
Right.
But, you know, I'm just going to... I'm not raising any kids, and
so here's the thing about that, because people love to say don't tell people how to raise their kids, and for the most part, I stay out of it. However, if I have something to say, then like Jasmine Masters, I'm gonna say it, because the thing about it that y'all who are raising children have to realize is you're raising the child, but the rest of us have to deal with them motherfuckers.
That is true.
Okay. So if you raising trash, don't get upset if they get treated like trash out here.
That's true.
Because it starts at home. We have the outside world has to deal with the tactics of how you choose to raise your child.
Yeah.
So to punctuate my thoughts on this, though, I will say, and I've said this on the show many times, and many people on different platforms say it all the time, Google is like a golden girl. Google is the fifth golden girl. She is a friend. She is a confidant. And I challenge people hearing my voice, seeing my tweets, or interacting with friends of mine. I challenge you to Google what emotions mean and what are emotions, what qualifies as an emotion. Because a lot of times, to get back to what the article is saying about being a man, manhood is so wrapped up in anger. Anger is an emotion. So a lot of times when men feel like they're sweeping they're getting away from the whole emotional rhetoric. If you're walking around angry all the time, if your response to everything is some level of anger, guess what? You emotional.
Right. It's true.
Just because you're not crying, just because you're not displaying a different range of emotions, that doesn't mean A, you're not emotional, and that doesn't mean B, that what you're doing is healthy. Just like you were saying earlier, that toxic emotion erupting, it usually will erupt and have you doing something you don't have any business doing. Now, I'm not saying that that's an excuse, because sometimes, you know what, I don't want to get into that, but my point is, if you are unfamiliar, Google, okay, ask Siri. Be like, Siri, what's up, B? What's the definition of emotions? What are some examples of emotions? And I guarantee, anger will be on there.
Yeah. What you call it, Sister Mary Google?
Yes, Sister Mary Google. She is tried and true.
Right. And if I could just say one more thing about that, like, I remember growing up and thinking when people would make certain comments on what being a man is, or don't cry like a little punk, you need to be a man up, and all that stuff. My ideals on what being a man is has always been tied to, taking care of business, making sure that, you are the leader, in your family, being responsible, having an education. I mean, and again, these things are tied into just being a human and being a person. But if I was going to be tied to some ideals on what a man is, it was always to be respectful, be honest, be, look out for my family, protect my family, be a role model to my nephew. It never was to walk a certain way, or not to cry in public, or not to be emotional, or I didn't understand how that made you a man.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things.
That's all I'll say about it.
Everyone has a different idea of what it means to be a man, and I don't know, 7 times out of 10, it's some unhealthy shit. So,
right.
I'm just saying. So,
right.
I think that is going to wrap up the Come Quick segment. So, let's get to the good shit, the gooder shit, because maybe the shit that we just did was good.
Maybe.
Anyway,
I always want to do the sound bites. Like, I'm gonna come quick. What is it? I'm gonna come, sir, or something like that. I always want to say them, like.
And I am not going to say where I got that from. So, main topic. I saw an article, and it said the 7 habits of couples with the hottest sex lives. However, before we get into those 7 habits, we're going to talk a little bit about a sexual habit that one celebrity says that he does not do. So,
yeah.
If you are unfamiliar, apparently DJ Khaled was on The Breakfast Club, and my illustrious guest Darius had to let me know, because I don't do anything that related to The Breakfast Club. I don't watch their interviews. I don't watch the clips. It's a no for me. But because this was on the vein and for the show, I said, okay, fine. So I watched the clip. So DJ Khaled, yes, that DJ, the We the Best, whatever the fuck else he says, DJ Khaled, that one, he says that he does not, quote unquote, go down. In layman's terms, he don't eat pussy. And I immediately, when I saw this, my first thought was, but you fat.
Oh my God.
So, I mean,
oh my God. Can you can you edit a dial tone into this?
No. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm like, you, and that's not, I'm not being shady or anything. The fact is a fact. Like, you're a fat man. And I just always assumed that for fat heterosexual men, like, eating pussy was like the holy grail for them.
Oh my God.
Like, if they don't do nothing else, they gon' yum
they gonna do it.
The kitty, you know what I mean? They gonna make that kitty purr. So
I have never heard that in my life.
Oh, okay.
Never heard that in my life.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was I just thought that's what you're supposed to do. I didn't.
Well, that too, but
especially if you're married.
I've been around in enough circles, and I've been on Twitter long enough that's like kind of like the running joke. But I don't think it's. But again, like I've said before, jokes are usually rooted in truth.
That's true.
And so
that's very true.
I've always heard, and I'm talking about all the way from high school, it's like, if the nigga's husky, he gonna be licking that muskie. So
okay,
I was confused when I saw this, and he was very adamant about it. So he says
he was.
But the thing about it is, it and the reason why I was glad that you presented this to talk about on the show is because it went beyond just, no, I don't eat pussy.
Yep.
So let me just a few highlights of what he said. And I only watched a clip. It was like 1 minute and 34 seconds. Maybe he tried to clean it up later. Maybe he didn't. I don't really care. He said basically, because they asked him, don't you feel like, it's kind of like praising your woman or something like that? He feels like his praising of his woman or his women, because you know how these niggas are, or these men. But he feels like praising is kind of limited to the material possessions and the financial. Like, don't you enjoy this food that you're able to cook? Don't you enjoy this house? Don't you enjoy me taking care of your family? And it's like, but that's not praising the individual. That's not praise.
Exactly.
That is, those are things that you agreed to do as a husband and as a provider. But that doesn't praise your actual wife for being a human being, being a woman, and being your wife.
Right.
He also feels like he's the king, and I'm paraphrasing, but basically what he was saying sounded to me like he feels like I'm the king, so I should be catered to and not the other way. So apparently eating pussy is catering to women. He also feels like there are different rules for men and women. So to him, it's okay for a man to refuse to go down, but not for a woman. Because they asked him, they're like, well, what if a woman's like, no, I don't do that. Is that okay? He was like, no, that's not okay. Hilk. And I was like, what is happening? Like, are you serious?
I was very irritated after watching it. I laughed to myself, and I was irritated because I just don't see how material things equate satisfaction in the bedroom. Right. I just don't see it. And then for him to say, like, I'm the king, and one of the hosts was just like, well, wouldn't that make your wife your queen? Like, how does she not get to enjoy, being pleasured in the same way that you do? And when he said there's a different set of rules, and I was like, okay, well, this nigga's trash. Like, that's immediately, I was like, you're trash, because at the end of the day, I've always believed that like sex is a form of communication. And you feel like, you're satisfying her with these material things, and like at the end of the day, you're not talking to her body, you're not talking to like her inner feelings, you just giving her shit. And somebody left a comment which I was like, well, somebody's eating it. And I was just like, oh my. Well.
So, a couple of things. Number one, I don't know why DJ Khaled is talking about his personal sex life at all.
Also that.
I don't know how they got to that. I don't really want to know because that's just, I don't know. It's just not where I want my thought process to go. And number two, I guess if she likes it, I love it. I mean, if you don't want that monkey wrenched, then enjoy not getting it wrenched. But my issue with this is all of the men who agree with this, who agree that they shouldn't have to do anything for a woman, but a woman should have to do everything for them. And I know that might sound a little weird because here I am, a gay nigga on a LGBT podcast talking about straight people's sex. But again, because y'all accost us with your sex so much and so often, I'm gonna have an opinion.
Yeah, why not?
Deal with it because y'all have all the things to say about us. So I just feel like you're, number one, you automatically get a few trash points for reinforcing that stereotype of, not stereotype, the thought that there's a double standard between what women do and what men do. And I don't get that. I mean, again, I don't want to get too much into the personal aspects because maybe I don't know what his ethnicity is exactly. It could be something cultural. I mean, my niggy sense says that it's probably not because you're so immersed in hip hop culture.
Exactly.
So if it is cultural, it's probably hip hop culture and not like your actual ethnic culture.
Yeah, someone actually left a comment and was just like, "Well, this man is Middle Eastern, so obviously." And I'm just like, from my experience with my people that are of different, backgrounds, there's what you say to your friends that you don't do, and then there's what actually goes on in the bedroom.
That's everybody.
Right. And that's one. And then to piggyback off something you said earlier, I just kept thinking to myself, this must be embarrassing for his spouse because regardless of what they do and don't do, like, why are you discussing this in like a group setting? You could have deflected and just be like, listen, what goes on in my bedroom is that's what we do. We do what we do.
Right.
Like, you could have.
We're a married couple and it's nobody's business. I mean, I don't know how they got to this point of the conversation. But, it's not our business what you do. And again, I hope that you and your wife are leading satisfied sex lives and we don't have to be hit over the head with yet another celebrity man getting caught out there cheating and whatnot. But any instance where you are openly and publicly reinforcing these gender stereotypes, these gender roles, and this idea that it's different for men than it is for women. Like it is different, but it's only different because you make it so. It doesn't have to be different. And the reasoning behind the difference is, and I've been looking at this on the low for a while, there is no reason. Or if there is a reason that someone comes up with, it's trash. Like I've yet to hear a good reason why anything in regards to sex should be different for men than it is for women.
Right. And I think too, like, if we want to, when I was thinking about it, I was thinking like, if we put it in gay terms, there's gay couples out there that there's certain things that they don't want to do. There's plenty of same-sex couples, males who don't engage in anal sex. But that's something that they negotiate with and they're both okay with.
Right, that's what I'm saying. The personal aspect, it might work wonders for them. She may love to suck. She might love nothing better than to get up under there and suck DJ Khaled's dick. And you know what? More power to you, sis. If that's your ministry, then praise.
Right.
Okay? If he is giving you the strokes of love that you enjoy, and y'all have a healthy sex life, and no one's feeling deprived, more power to you. But again, when you start taking your personal sex life and how you choose to have sex and issuing it like it's a blanket statement, oh, it's different for men and for women, that's where you need to stop. You can say it's different for me and my wife. I would respect that all day.
Right.
But when you come out and you say, no, it's different for men and for women, that's when it's like, whoa there, pump the brakes. Let's slow down and let's talk about this, because what are you perpetuating?
Right.
Because
and
then,
I can't. Oh, go ahead. I
was just gonna say again, and with his ties to hip hop culture, it just looks like it's the same thing. Like you're promoting hoe culture. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, these hoes, they do whatever. They turn it out, they suck dick, and we ain't got to do nothing but fuck these bitches and go on about our day. And it's just like, oh God. Y'all
I was gonna say too, with that mentality that he has, which he didn't go into great detail about his, why it's different for men and women, but
because he didn't have a reason.
But I can't imagine that pleasing or making sure that his wife receives sexual pleasure to the extent he does is a priority for him, and that's what it's sad almost.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to speculate too much on his sex life, because first of all, it's DJ Khaled, no shade.
No, but I'm just saying, with that mentality, to say that there's a whole different set of rules.
Yeah, it did come across that way. You know what I mean? Like, if you read between the lines, it's like, sex is for my pleasure, not my wife's.
Yeah.
So
that's what it came across as, and I was just like, "Damn, I'm sad for myself."
And not only that, he was, and it's not only that, because then when he doubled down in it, to me, it's perpetuating that idea that sex is not for, I don't want to say women. Mm-hmm. I would say mostly women, but I'm going to broaden that a little bit and say that it perpetuates the idea that sex is not for the recipient's pleasure.
That's what I heard.
And when I say recipient, in case anyone is not understanding what I mean by that, the receiving partner, the woman, the bottom, whoever is having something inserted, having a penis or penis adjacent inserted into them.
Penis adjacent. That's my new my new handle on Twitter.
Speaking of penis adjacent, did you see? Off topic a little bit, but it applies. Did you see? I saw it on Facebook. I don't know if you saw it. Some pictures was somebody. I guess it was a stud that posted, and she was like, "My dick in my 13s," and it was like a strap had been cut up, and in them shoes.
I felt bad for my sis.
I'm not gonna lie. I was amused. Not because the stuff got cut up, but just the phrasing just took me down.
Listen,
no Chris Brown.
We all got a different set of, I don't know what the word is.
Well, no, I mean, it was just the specific word that she used, because she didn't say my strap. She said my dick, and I was just like, oh. I don't know why that took me down. I mean, have at it. If that's your connection to it, then it is what it is. But it caught me off guard and it made me laugh. Anyway, so we've been talking about DJ Khaled and a sexual habit that he does not do, allegedly, because like you said earlier, people can say one thing and then in the bedroom, you never know. He might be tied up, leather bound. She might be pegging his ass for all we know.
Oh, God.
However,
now, you said you didn't want to imagine DJ Khaled doing anything, but now you have the image of him.
No, I didn't have an image. That just flew right off my tongue.
It's in my head now, and I can't unsee it.
Oh, well, prayers for you. Speaking of tongues and where DJ Khaled says his does not go, we're going to get into some habits of couples who have the hottest sex lives, allegedly. So this is a Huffington Post article, And we're just going to run through some of these and see if we agree. Now, I believe that this is kind of written from more of a heterosexual view. However, I am of the mindset and a strong proponent that relationships are relationships because it's people. And so the differences between a heterosexual couple's relationship and same gender loving or some variant of that, those relationships, I don't think they differ too much. So let's get into it. The first one says they let themselves get excited together even when sex isn't on the menu, savoring the slow build up, drawing it out, or teasing each other when you're out in public and can't do anything sexually explicit is a trait that most couples with hot sex lives share. I think I would agree. I think that you assume when you see a couple that like kind of can't keep their hands off each other in public and playfully, because when y'all start doing all that smoochy shit and being extra like it's the Notebook, I'm like, y'all can go, like, just go home, just go home and get it done. Get her done. But I definitely feel like, because I can't. Well, do I? I mean, we weren't a couple, but we enjoyed things. A guy that I have in mind, and he was that way. He was very touchy feely in public, and at first I was kind of uncomfortable just because I had never experienced that. But I definitely would agree with this, like little touches, drawing it up and just being like, ooh, I'm gonna sop your ass up with a biscuit when we get home. All of that kind of stuff, I feel like leads to a hot, quote unquote, and maybe more importantly, healthy sex life.
Yeah, I agree with that.
There's something in the tease. There's something in the tease.
A little touch here and there, little guiding the person into the room, with a little touch at the small of his back, kind of ushering him in. Not ushering. But when I read that though, I had to read it a couple times and then read the description under it, because having the word excited and menu in the same sentence, I thought about food. And I just kept thinking, like, y'all go to a nice restaurant, get your favorite meal. I get excited with food, and especially I get excited if we both go into the same restaurant going to a restaurant that we love the same things from that restaurant. To me, that's gonna make up for a good night, because it says even when sex is not on the menu. So we might not be having sex, but we definitely getting turned on by this food right now. But that's just my fat ass point of view.
Fat ass shit.
That's some fat ass shit.
I mean, I relate. But I too get excited about food. However,
but I'm saying though, like,
I didn't go there with that.
That's a turn on. Like, it's just like, oh my god, I can't wait to order the number 10 or whatever, wherever we going. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't wait. This is about to be so good. I'm gonna get a large. What you gonna get? Like,
yeah. The only thing that I thought about the last sentence when it was saying that you're out in public and can't do anything sexually explicit, my mind immediately jumped to, it's a lot of y'all out here that's doing stuff in public. So I don't know how true that is, especially you gays. Y'all love to be in the parks and be in the cars, and y'all love to test boundaries, and that's cute for your little Tumblr videos or whatever.
I was gonna say there's plenty of Tumblr pages dedicated to that.
However, just a friendly reminder, that shit will get you locked up.
Right. And put on the sex offenders list.
Yeah, if you get caught, depending on where you are, you probably will get locked up, and you might have to register as a sex offender. So just be careful. Yeah. But slow build up, yes. I just would suggest that you wait until you get home, and then let her rip. Climb the walls, do the Spider-Man, do whatever it is that you do.
Eat cake.
Well,
pun intended.
Unless you DJ Khaled. So the next one says every year they get a little bit dirtier. Couples with hot sex lives are always up in the ante in the bedroom. Whether it's grapefruiting or trying some next level sex position, they seek out the new and unexplored. So listen, first of all, grapefruit is disgusting. She does not taste good. Second of all, I don't know if citrus and genitals mix. I don't think they know each other.
I don't think they. No.
I don't think they're friends. I don't think that they are confidants.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. I mean, listen. If you out there and grapefruiting is one of your techniques, and you want to share your experience, feel free to reach out. But
is it me, or does grapefruiting just seem so unnecessary?
Very much so. Like, if you need a little extra lube, use some lube. Use some, wet your mouth. Spit. Good old fashioned spit.
When's the last time you walked down a lube aisle or an aisle with lube in it and it said now with citrus extract? Like, never.
Yeah.
So
never. I don't feel like citrus should be involved in sex. I don't
think so either. And that seems like such an unnecessary thing.
Right. And so the whole grapefruiting thing, I mean, I'm sure there's some variant of it was probably a thing before it was in Girls Trip. However, in Girls Trip, I think they made a very important point in that when the citrus juice got into the pee-pee hole, it was a disaster. So,
oh my gosh.
Anyway, yeah. I'm not sure why we're concentrating on the grapefruiting.
I don't know either, but I get it.
I would imagine that if you are a couple in a long-term relationship, you're doing something to keep things spicy in the bedroom, hopefully. And it may not be anything as extreme as wasting a grapefruit, but it could just be a new position. Maybe you get a Kama Sutra book and y'all do some different things. I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's important to, each year try something different or up the ante a little bit. I do feel like it's a little bit of danger in that as well.
Right, because you might mess around and be like Trey and Alex from Noah's Ark, and then every week he coming home with some new sex toy, and you like,
exactly.
I'm tired of all the plastic. I forgot about that episode. I'm tired of all the plastic. I just want the flesh.
Exactly. And you might, right. it might morph into, a monster a little bit. Yeah,
you want to be careful that you don't get addicted to trying to up the ante versus actually enjoying the experience.
Exactly. I like that.
I would agree. Okay, next it says they take care of themselves. Couples with hot sex lives understand that feeling confident bolsters their sex drive. That doesn't mean that they're hitting spin class every day or have zero body fat. The kind of confidence and inherent sexiness they possess is more full-bodied and holistic than that. I would agree. I feel like we've had plenty of examples in media and probably talking to our friends who are cursed to be in long-term relationships that sometimes feeling like they let themselves go or they feel unattractive and it would affect their sex life, because we know that for whatever reason people don't like discussing sex, and so that's the kind of thing that goes undiscussed and it leads to further complications, because instead of telling your partner, hey, I feel kind of unattractive, and letting your partner be like, I don't know what you're talking about because we about to smang. But I agree that I think having a level of self-confidence, and this is funny because I went to dinner last night with a friend of mine and we were talking about confidence. I think having a level of self-confidence will lead to your sex life being healthier, and whatever taking care of yourself means. And like the article says, it may not mean working out, it may not mean going to spin class and doing yoga and all of that kind of stuff. It may mean making sure that your mental health is on point.
Right.
It may mean doing the things that make you happy. If you love to cook, maybe cooking helps release those endorphins and is an aphrodisiac for you. And that's how you keep yourself taken care of so that you can take care of business in the bedroom.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, for some people, it may just mean, like you said, outside of going to the gym and, having 6-pack abs, it could be you making sure that, you got your toes done or you got your hair done or you got a fresh haircut.
Right. Maybe you got waxed or something like that.
Right. And I feel like you have to somewhat feed the things that you need in order to feel comfortable or confident going into, being intimate with somebody. Some guys be like, I don't care what it look like, what it smell like, just bring it over here. But you might not necessarily be comfortable with that.
Listen.
You see what I mean?
Hashtag a good rinse.
Just splash some water around and just come over here. No. Like you might feel like it's more important for you to spend some extra time, in the shower, in the bathtub, whatever, with your favorite essential oils and such, because that's what feeds your turn on meter. So that taking care of yourself thing, it's very important. It's very important because you might not even be into it because you didn't get the opportunity to take care of yourself first.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So, yeah.
So really quick though on the body aspect of it, I would say that it's important to be able to express how you feel about your partner's body or how you feel about your body to your partner. And the reason why I say that, because again, we've seen so many examples of a man, because it's usually not, I can't think of many examples where a man in a relationship with a woman gains weight and she's like, I'm just not attracted to that nigga no more. Usually what we see is the woman may gain some weight, she may have had some kids, and her body changes, her body composition changes, and the man is like, I'm not attracted to you no more, you need to work out, you need to eat more salads. It may even be subtle passive aggressive stuff, like they may like shit. You might see your man liking statuses on Instagram, that dumbass joke talking about, oh, you bitches need more cardio and less Cardi B.
Dumbest joke ever.
I don't know who told y'all that was funny or clever. It is not. But anyway, I digress. So I think it's very important to have those lines of communication open. I mean, in a relationship in general, but again, sexually and as far as your body goes, we can all talk about body positivity and all that kind of stuff, and I agree with it. But however, listen to me. I am a strong proponent, and at some point I'm going to get more into this, but I'm a strong proponent of you cannot force attraction. It doesn't matter what's politically correct. None of that matters. If a person is attracted, they're attracted. If they're not attracted, they're not attracted.
Right.
And so if it gets to a point where you feel unattractive, or you are not, or you're losing attractiveness towards your partner because of changes in their body, again, it's very, very important to have those lines of communication open. So I didn't want to touch past this one and not address that because it kind of glossed over the physical aspect of it, but the physical aspect is still important.
But something, maybe, I don't know if this ties into it completely, but sometimes there's been instances too where somebody has an insecurity and their partner, doesn't care about that. Like,
Yeah, but that's why I said it's important for you, if you are not feeling attractive, or if you have, it's important for you to express that to your partner. It goes both ways.
But I'm saying, like, what does that conversation even sound like? Like, if let's say, I got some middies, I got man titties, whatever, and I'm very insecure about it. But my partner's like, man, bring them things over here. Let me suck on them. But that doesn't make me feel more confident about it. That I'm still insecure about it, and I'm still, covering up. I'm still like embarrassed. How does a person get past that?
I mean, number one, I don't think that that's all on your partner.
Right.
A lot of that is internal. But I would definitely suggest letting your partner know. And I don't know what the exact, come on, horns. Bass.
That's my win.
I don't know what that exact conversation sounds like. I don't know how you reach that subject.
Mm-hmm.
But I would imagine that it would be better and more positive and easier to say, hey, I feel a way about my chest situation,
mm-hmm.
and letting trying to do your best to absorb the fact that they love your body the way that it is.
Right.
And hopefully you have a partner that's supportive and be like, I mean, they're going to get sucked either way. Now,
exactly.
Maybe you need something a little bit more eloquent, but
no, I like that.
Whatever the response is, and then maybe they say, but if it's really bothering you, then we need to talk about it more when we're not about to sweat it out.
Exactly.
So that we can get to the root of it. And then, you have to ask yourself, okay, I have this insecurity, but what am I doing to combat it? And I'm not saying that you need to get to the gym and you need to pump it out. I'm not saying you need to go to Dr. Curves or your, whatever. But the thing about insecurities, and this is me probably definitely reading myself, is the insecurity is going to be there regardless. So you can either choose to let it torture you, or you can choose to do something about it. And again, that's if you're doing the mental work, trying to figure out where it's coming from, the source of it. If you're doing something to reverse it, if it's something about your body that you don't like, maybe you do start working out. Maybe you do get a Bowflex. You start doing them chest flies, and you be like, I am determined to look like my favorite Instagram nigga who always have his chest out.
Right.
You know what I mean? But my point is, just letting the insecurity fester, you're never going to get anywhere. If you don't open your mouth, and if you don't take yourself to task, you're not going to get anywhere.
Yeah, totally agree. 100%.
Okay. So the next one says, they laugh in and outside the bedroom. Sex isn't always sultry. Shit. No. Seductive or hot. Silly things happen when two bodies slap against each other. Okay.
Listen here.
Not to mention funny noises. Okay. When awkward moments arise, couples with great sex lives take it in stride and laugh about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I mean, like, to my point, like, sex is communication. And we both know, like, there's going to be some funny noises. Everything it's not going to happen like it happens in the movies. It's not going to happen like it happens, in a flick. You might,
because they can
something funny might happen.
Out. Something funny might happen. If he might be hitting it from the back, and you misplace a hand and your ass and fell out the bed. You can laugh about it and be like, okay, maybe we change positions now.
Right.
Maybe I need to get on top because clearly you're trying to kill me. Ha ha. You know what I mean?
Right.
But definitely communication, and definitely, you just can't take things too serious. I know, getting down to the business and slapping skins is to an extent serious business, because especially for men, because men are, as much as we say that they don't have to be, they prove that that's what they want to be in a lot of instances, pleasure driven. So I get that it can be serious business to a certain degree, but I mean, have fun. You know what I'm saying? Have fun.
That reminds me of that scene in Insecure when Issa was sitting with with
Daniel.
What's his face?
Daniel.
No, it was the other guy. She was just on one of her dates. What's the fine ass singer's name?
Luke James.
Guy. Luke James. She was sitting with Luke James, and she started like giggling. And he was just like kind of giggling at first. And my point to say all this is like, let's not turn it into a comedy show though. let's get back to the business.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. Like it's not Def Comedy Jam,
right?
However,
right,
we can laugh and we can, when little things happen, if that pussy whistling or something, then we can have a chuckle and keep it going.
Yo, exactly. Like,
however,
yeah,
that creaming shit is not a laughing matter, and that's all I'm gonna say.
Oh my God, get me out of here. Okay, what's the next one? I'm gonna say.
The next one says,
I can imagine you be like, we got to go to the ER right now.
No, we don't have to go to the ER. I know what's happening. However, don't you be sitting up here thinking that you got me seeing the moons and the stars and the backside of Pluto, because it's creamy. Anyway, the next one says they masturbate during sex. Here's a dirty little secret about relationship sex. Masturbating is much more fun when you're not doing it alone. Plus, in the process, your partner gets a master class on the most reliable ways to please you. So, two things with this.
Okay.
I feel like this can be true. However, at the same time, I feel like most couples would probably be like, ain't nobody got time to be masturbating during sex. Like, let's get to it. So I'm wondering how realistic this is.
I thought that everybody masturbated during sex. Yeah, I'll just leave it there. I thought everybody did. I mean, I thought that's just how it's a part of it. Like, it's a part of the experience. Like, I'm giving you a helping hand while you doing your business, or, vice versa. I thought that's what everybody did. I mean, from what I've seen in videos, like, even with heterosexuals, like, the woman is, playing DJ Figure down there while the guy is, inside her. And then same thing with, two males having sex. The guy's, masturbating while the other guy's inside him. Like, that's the way I interpret it. I
guess
that's
so.
What you do.
I guess so. I hadn't thought about it that way.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's masturbation for the sake of masturbation because it's a part of sex, or if that's masturbation because this nigga is rearranging my guts and I'm trying to get some pleasure too. I don't know.
Well, then too, like, some people don't want the whole meal. They just want to get, they want to get a couple items off the value menu. So
that is very true. Some people be like, just give me the snack wrap and let me go on about my day.
Exactly. And so, like, going back to the, the whole menu thing, what if one of our favorite places to eat is the taco spot, but in the middle of the night, I want a little, attention, and I want to, feel around. We obviously are both going to be masturbating that night. Nobody's going to be inside of anybody. So that's the way I interpret it. Like, I think masturbating with your partner is actually really good because, again, y'all might not be in the full position or have the full energy to do the whole shebang. You might just, want to, just get that nut, but have them with you, have them in the same bed with you. You know what I'm saying? You have, that person to play off of. So I like, that's probably my favorite rule, or not rule, but habit. Whatever habit out of all of these.
Yeah. So I guess because the way I read it was more of the last line of having the master class on how to please your partner. You have to be attentive because if y'all are both masturbating for pleasure, then you're not seeing what they like and they're not seeing what you like. But
exactly,
there's different levels to it, so I agree.
And you can pick up on things too. Like, if you notice that your guy, while he's jacking off, he like flicks his nipple here and there, like, then now like that's a trigger for him, his nipple. So you can use that move later on, when y'all full throttle, whatever. Yeah. Like, you could just pick up on certain little things while that person's masturbating. So what's that? Number 5? Number 5 is a winner for me, but go ahead.
So let me say this before we move on, Because y'all, these memes where y'all are not wanting to suck nobody nipple so they can get theirs after you got yours, y'all be looking funny in the light, and I'm going to leave it at that. So the next one, when the lights come on, y'all looking real the fuck ha ha. They explore each other's fantasies. In the words of sex columnist Dan Savage, the best sex partners are good, giving, and game. In other words, they're skilled in bed, thanks to a lot of practice. That might be a bone of contention. They're generous, and they're willing to try out whatever their partner's into, within reason. You goddamn right.
Yeah.
Because if you want to shit on these raws, where you got to get out of my house.
Get out.
The 3 G's are especially important in long-term committed relationships, in which things can easily become stagnant in the bedroom.
Mm-hmm.
I just agree. You have to be. I won't say you have to be. It's a good suggestion to be open to your partner's fantasies, and for you to have your partner be open to yours. You want to try different things. If you want to reenact something from whatever, if you want to dress up, if you want to do cosplay, like whatever you're into, I say explore and have fun.
Right. Yeah, I think it's totally important to explore, your partner's fantasies, and you don't necessarily have to fully commit, fully immerse yourself in it, but you can kind of, help them along the way. Like if your partner has always had a stripper fantasy, it don't cost you nothing to take a class and, learn a few moves, buy a little, skimpy outfit, just especially if you love this person, you want to see them happy.
Yeah. Like,
why not? Like, that, to me, the people who don't want to do stuff like that, or they feel like it's silly and stuff like that, they losing, because
I wouldn't say that. I would say I would say it's goes back to what you've been kind of saying throughout the conversation, is that sex is communication. And so this is just another aspect of that communication, because I think where the issues lie is when someone who is into vanilla sex comes across someone who is not into vanilla sex, and because they don't communicate openly either both ways or one way, that's where you have the issues. And so then all of a sudden it's girl, he came in there talking about, he wanted to have me swinging from the chandelier, and he don't know I got a bad back and something like that. And it's just like that kind of stuff where it's like, if those lines of communication were a little bit more open,
right? Because
you don't want to be in a situation where you are surprised, where
100%.
It's okay, I'm gonna spring this on him or her, number one, doing the surprise or being surprised, and it's like, okay, we've been doing great, we've been trying little things, he went and got me a nice little leather harness, and I didn't know I was into leather like that, but I'm starting to like it. And then the next thing you know, this nigga comes in with like one of them machine fuckers, and you're like, okay, wait a minute.
With a mask
on and a whip,
right? Or
he come in there dressed like a pony, and you're like, hold on, how did we get from leather harnesses to pony play? You know what I mean?
Right.
I also think that there needs to be a gradual aspect of it, but that's with all things. Humans, we are not built to go from 0 to 100. Like, we need the gradual. So work your way up to, if pony play is your end goal, you might want to work your way up to it, or you might want to start off with that and find you somebody that's like, listen, I have a saddle for you, okay, and we can ride.
Right.
Okay, last one. They kiss and touch throughout the day just to show they care. A playful pinch on the butt or kiss before work matters more than you think. Putting a premium on non-sexy time touch is a great way to remind your partner that you're content and still very much attracted to him or her. I think that this is a good habit to have, because again, a lot of times we see these relationships, and even from my own personal experience, where when the relationship is going awry or something is not right, the first thing you kind of take away is you take away the communication, you take away the touch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think it is very important to maintain that throughout your relationship. A little playful. Even if you're, well, that may not be good. I was gonna say, like, if your partner said, "Oh, I'm kind of insecure about my love handles," and you just walk by and pinch them, be like,
right,
be like, "Don't
that might not be."
That may not be, but what I'm saying, a little pat on the butt while I'm bending over getting yogurt or something. I could see it.
Well, I was gonna say too, like, well, to reinforce your point about like the love handles thing, that might go more into like when y'all behind closed doors. Like, you might not squeeze them in public, but when it's just y'all two, like, you kiss on them bad boys. Like, these my love handles. I love them. Like,
well, I mean, but that's more now, because now you're talking about the actual act of sex versus we're talking about non-sexy time.
Right. I'm just saying, you might not be able to pinch him outside, but on the inside, you can show him that you love him in a way. But as far as like the PDA or the kissing and the pinching and all that little stuff, that might put some fuel in your tank for later on. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it might, to me, it's a way that you let your partner know that they still sexy to you. They still turn you on. You staring at them when they walk across the room, and then when they finally get to you, you give them a little booty rub, whatever. Everybody loves a nice little booty rub every now and then. So, I definitely like number 7.
Yeah, I like that too.
I like that.
Oh, is he still with us?
I
know he was going through it. He done gouged out his eye, and I think he went to jail, or he was doing something for people coming out of jail. I don't know.
We're gonna keep him lifted in prayer.
Yeah, we'll keep him lifted.
Most of the thing, like, all of these things pretty much tie into how I feel about healthy communication when it comes to sex, honestly. Like, I feel like, one, you should talk about the things that y'all are doing, that you like and that you don't like too,
and that you don't like. I mean, I think it usually is pretty. The don't like is usually what gets talked about, but what you do like. I think the typical things, like, especially with gays, it's like, do you suck dick? Do you eat ass? And it's like things that kind of get swept under the rug. Like I said, being into different things, maybe cosplay, or I don't know, food, which I don't know. I mean, whipped cream, I can't turn my nose up at that because I've experienced it and it's lit. But something, I mean, you never know. You know what I mean? Like, I've seen shows where people have like a little food fetish, and that's part of their sexual experience. So,
but you don't, like, when I say talk about it too, like, for some people, they might feel very uncomfortable talking to their partner about what they like and what they don't like. Some people get embarrassed, and I'm not saying you got to pull out a pie chart, in the bed, and with a whole, with a laser, and show them, this is where you had me fucked up last night. Like, you don't have to do all that.
Or this is where you didn't have me fucked up enough.
Right, but you can say, man, like, last night, that thing you did, that was amazing. Or, you could just be like, next time we in the bedroom, can we try this? Because what you did last night, like, it felt a little weird. Like, it might be an uneasy conversation, but it'll get easier over time if you just are very open with your partner about what you enjoy and what you don't enjoy. And also, like, we're grown. Like, have these conversations. Because why shouldn't you have a meaningful conversation about sharing your body with somebody that you're like sharing bodily fluids with? If that's anybody, that's the person you should be being open and communicating with about what you like and what you don't like. It's important.
I agree.
And And then also like listening to your partner, not just listening to them telling you what they don't and don't like, but like listening to them, you know, while you are in the bedroom. If you're not hearing the moans like you did when you was doing the other thing, then you might want to go to that other thing you was doing before. Like, if they ain't tuning it up, you know, then they might not, you know, not be liking what you're doing at that moment. If they, you know, shying away when you trying to squeeze their ass in public and all that stuff, they might not enjoy it. Like, it's some nonverbal cues that you need to be paying attention to, you know, to your partner, versus them just sitting down telling you what they do and don't like.
Yeah, so, I agree with that.
Yeah. And I think my last thing is when you talk about like trying new things in the bedroom, or when you talk about feeding into your partner's fetishes, like, let's say your partner's into feet. You might not necessarily be into feet. But let's say you're not disgusted by feet, because there's a difference. There's like, I'm not a big nipple person, but if somebody's sucking my nipples, I'm not gonna stop them either. Like, it's like, oh, thank you, that's very nice of you. Like, I'm just not gonna like, you know, push them away. But if like somebody's in the feet or whatever, like, let them indulge every now and then. Go get your feet done. Don't have like nasty ass feet just because you not into feet. Like, try to meet your partner halfway. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, do it every now and then. Nobody's saying that you have to completely subscribe to your partner's fantasies, but give them a little diet dose of what, you know, they like.
I'm sorry, you said that, and I'm just imagining somebody being like, I'm going to go get my feet up. I got a treat for you. Happy birthday, boo! Bam! Size 12, all up on you. Have at it. Enjoy yourself.
Right.
It's a celebration, bitch.
I went to Shanae's salon. I let them grind these feet down.
Just for you, boo.
Just for you, baby. But yeah, you like, and you know, when I was talking about earlier about the whole like stripping thing, like, nobody said you had to go out and become a whole stripper. But, you know, maybe y'all can go to a strip club together, and then later on that night, you know, y'all have sex. You know what I'm saying? Like, just
Beyonce takes Jay-Z to the strip club.
Just a diet version of what your partner enjoys. Sometimes, most of the times, that's enough. Just try to meet them and let them know, look, I care about what you into. I'm not into it, but I care about what you into, and I'm willing to, you know, meet you halfway.
I agree. That's fair. And I think that's gonna wrap up this conversation. It was something. And if you are listening to this and you're in a relationship and you can relate to some of these, or if there were some things that you felt were off and you want to add to the conversation, feel free to tweet at us, at the show. Use the hashtag GaysidePod when you do so, and keep the conversation going. So we're going to move on to the last segment, and that is the Queer Query. Question. So,
okay.
Couple of questions. So what we're going to do this time is, because Darius and I started talking, planning the episode, and he just busted out all kinds of questions like his ass was freaking Wendy Williams and shit. And I was like, you know what? Why don't you ask some questions? And I've done this a couple of times on the show. So we're going to trade off. So I'll ask a question and then you ask one.
Okay.
So first question, what's a 2018 goal that you're working on?
2018 goal that I'm working on is actually putting together another art show. Last year I did my first art exhibit, whatever you want to call it, art exhibit, art show. It was called the Power Art Show. I did it in Atlanta, and I, you know, showed off my photography and my paintings and stuff like that, and it was a success. This year, I want to do it again, obviously, but I want to add some other elements to it, and the whole goal of the show is to inspire other people to be artistic. So I want to add some new elements to it. The same set of concerns and fears that set in when I did the show last year are starting to set in now. You think after conquer your fear, you could just do it again, but so far it's turned out to be a scary thing. So that's my goal, 2018, to put together another show.
Okay. I've said this on the show before, probably many episodes ago, but one of my goals is to kind of kickstart this writing thing again and see how I can shape that. So I actually have started that a little.
That's good.
But we'll talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. So your go. What's your question?
Okay, my questions are really random.
Okay.
Is that okay?
I mean, my questions are random too. We went from
Okay.
talking about DJ Khaled not licking pussy to 2018 goals. Like
That
that's
is
the whole
very
point
true.
of the queer query, is to be completely separate from the conversation, so people can get a different aspect of you and me. To be quite honest.
Okay. Okay. What is your favorite thing about yourself? It could be physically, it could be a character trait, anything. Like, what is one thing about yourself that you are completely confident about, and it's your favorite thing about you?
Ooh. I don't know if I would say I have something I'm completely confident about, but something that I've been growing to appreciate about myself is that I find myself making people laugh,
Okay.
and I particularly don't think I'm funny. Like I don't
Yeah.
think I'm
Well,
saying anything that's funny.
yeah,
Sometimes
you
I
might want to
do.
toss that out because I was laughing my ass off
I mean,
on this whole episode.
sometimes I do say things that I know would probably be funny, but sometimes I just say something and people, I just have found, or rather, I would say I've learned to appreciate more that I make people laugh even when I don't mean to.
Hmm.
So that's probably my favorite thing about myself, because I it's just kind of something that I stumble across. Like I'm no
Hmm.
comedian, I'm no Eddie Murphy, I'm no Kid Fury or nothing like that. But I and the reason why I cherish that is because I don't feel like I'm a comedian. So
Hmm.
I think laughter is good for the soul. I know it's a cliche, but it really is. And
Yeah.
laughter is one of the best medicines. So even if we're just having a conversation about whatever, if I say something off the wall, like we could be a good example. I was at my friend Nikki's house and we were watching TV with one of our other friends. And just off the top of my head, the lady was saying, somebody was saying something. And I was like, you need to renovate that face. Just making a joke. But people appreciating that kind of stuff and laughing.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's something that I've kind of learned to appreciate about myself. What about you?
Um, I've always been able to make people laugh. But something that I've kind of perfected over time is having, I don't know if this is the right word. I won't use it because I don't know if it's the right word. But having like concern for other people and what's going on in their life before I even start to discuss my own. Like I'm one of those people. Like I don't like to start off a conversation with what you're doing. Like I would prefer to ask how you doing or how's your day going. Because I think it's important. Like even if I'm sitting down in my barber chair before my barber lays a hand on my head, I'm like, how's your day going? What's going on with you? And just really try to just have like a deeper level of connection and conversation with somebody, because you just never know what people are in their day. You never know how they might be feeling. I know plenty of times where I call on some of my best friends, and with your best friends, you can get really comfortable, in the way you communicate. You're supposed to be comfortable, but some of your best friends aren't telling you everything because they're so used to the way that y'all communicate. And if you just stop for a second and be like, hey, what's going on with you? How's everything? Are you doing all right? You sure you're doing all right? Like, so my ability to just really kind of go below the surface of regular communication, I like that about myself.
Okay. I like that. Okay. Next question. What's one of your dream vacations?
Okay. So I can't say that I have a real dream vacation because I've been to pretty much all my dream vacations already.
Oh well,
Uh,
snaps for you.
but I will say I have a goal, and that is to um, rent out like a villa or beach home or something like that, and have the beach be in the backyard, and it be a nude beach,
Okay.
and I participate in that nudity.
Oh, okay.
I don't just watch because
Okay.
I've been to nude beaches before, but let me tell you about how I was fully covered with the armor of God while I was there. Like it was just like nobody's gonna see these areolas
Swaddled in
today.
the blankets of Jesus.
Wrapped in swaddling clothing. Do you hear me? But I want to participate in the nakedness. But I wanted to be like in a beautiful beach location and you know perfect weather and all of that. So maybe Hawaii. I've never been to Hawaii yet, so that's a idea.
I don't know if I have I have an idea. I don't have like a destination, and it was kind of along the same lines as what you were saying, but then you went a little bit left. But my dream vacation would be to if I could have all of the people that are close to me, and maybe their loved ones, if they are not a Trump supporter and not misogynistic or homophobic. Anyway,
But
and we just go somewhere and we have that same kind of thing, maybe like a line of villas along the beach, and we just enjoy each other's company, enjoy good food,
yeah,
maybe partake of a little puff puff, and just
all right.
really relax and enjoy being us together away from home, in a non-stressful environment. We don't have to worry about traffic. We don't have to worry about the weather acting ass. We don't have to worry about anything. It's just smooth sailing, literally and maybe figuratively, or maybe literally. Yeah, and we just enjoy.
I like it. Maybe like have like everybody like cooks in the house, and you don't necessarily have to go out to eat all the time.
I don't cook,
probably
so
good. I'm gonna cross off this question I was about to ask you.
yeah, I don't cook, so that may not, you know what I mean. I'll be like, yo, I'll support you and whatever you do. I clean. I'll clean.
You'll clean up afterwards.
Yeah, but I don't cook.
Wait, but you gotta have like a dish that you can make. What can you make?
So there's a difference between being able to cook and being able to feed yourself. I can feed myself, but I don't cook.
Well, okay, if you had to cook, like for somebody to like impress them,
I don't have a signature dish.
With your terrible, with your not good cooking skills.
I don't have a signature dish.
What? Not even like chicken Alfredo?
No.
Oh my gosh.
I don't cook like that. I don't.
What about baked chicken?
I don't have a set recipe. It's just kind of like whatever I feel like. You know what I mean? Like I said, for me, because I'm not picky with food, so I can do bare minimum type stuff and get my grub on. So that's why I say I've never really cooked for anybody. But that's a loaded question. And I'm not going to open that Jack in the Box. We're not going to do that.
It's not my official question.
Okay, what's your official
question? This is my final question. I'm gonna leave it on a high note.
Okay.
Who in your circle makes you laugh the hardest?
Ooh. Who in my circle makes me laugh the hardest? That's a hard question.
It can be more than one.
Definitely Candace. Y'all probably know her from Ratchet Ramblings. She's London and Mommy on Twitter. She used to be Intense Desire. She is one of the ones that makes me laugh all the time. I guess I'll leave it at that, because pretty much everyone that I interact with on a regular basis makes me laugh at some point, some degree. There's some kind of shade or something going on. You know, some funny story. They done bumped somebody with a cart and had to cuss somebody out. Like, something going on where they may make me laugh. But I think probably Candace would be the most consistent. Like, just the way she phrases things sometimes. And, yeah. But what about you? What about you?
You know, it's not easy to make me just, like, slap my knee laugh. It's not. Yeah, it's not. But I do have a couple people, and again, like you, they don't necessarily try to be funny. They just are. And that would be my best friend, Tatiana, my friend Markel, and then my friend Philip.
Hey, friends.
Though they don't even try. They just say something, and they could be dead serious, and I'll be like in tears, you know. And some of them even look at me like, I don't even know why you laughing. I wasn't even trying to. And I'm just like, the way you said it, I'm a mess. So yeah, I would say those people.
Okay.
There's a couple of others, but those three.
Well, I feel honored that you were laughing during this show.
I was, because you are a funny person.
I wasn't trying to be. I mean, some things I was like, okay, I know this is gonna be for some stuff. Sometimes, most of the time, it's just me reacting.
Right.
And it may come out funny if I'm lucky.
Right.
All right. So, you guys, that is going to wrap up this episode of Gayside Stories. Darius, thank you so much for being on the show, being a great host, and having these amazing conversations. I feel like we talked about a lot, but it was all good. Tell people where they can find you.
Well, I am Darius Amore. That's DariusAmore on just about everything. Instagram, Twitter. Those are my two weapons of choice. And then I have a website, DariusAmore.com, where I show off my art, my art things, my photography, and coming soon will be my paintings and fine art. And stay tuned for any, artsy fartsy things that I post online. And yeah, that's where you can find me.
Work it out. Okay. Speaking of websites, guys, go to GaysideStories.com. That is the hub for more information about guests like Darius who have things going on in the background.
I'm sorry. No, I was trying to sabotage you, low key. Like
it's the end of the show. This is probably the point where people turn it off anyway. So it is okay. However, clocked. All right.
GaysideStories.com.
GaysideStories@gmail.com if you want to get in touch with me. Social media pages, Twitter, Instagram @GaysideStories, all one word. Facebook page is facebook.com/GaysideStories. The discussion, The discussion group is #GaysidePod on Facebook. Subscribe if you have not already. You can find the show on whatever you're listening to right now, but also SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, Acast, Stitcher, Google Play Music. I am looking to probably expand that in the next couple of weeks. We'll see what happens. But while you're on these podcasting apps, if they allow you, go ahead and leave a 5-star rating, and if you feel so inclined, write a review as well. But most importantly, you guys, make sure you're sharing the show. Word of mouth is still one of the biggest and bestest ways. Yes, I said bestest.
Come on, bestest.
Ways to get the word out about really literally anything, but with podcasts as well. So I would appreciate if you share this show with others. You can do it on Instagram, you can do it on your Facebook, or you can just do it in the iMessage. All right. So the Gayside short stories are going to be making a comeback. I don't want to say teasing. Really, I've been saying I'm going to do it, but I've been lazy. So I finally got around to it. So check out the latest Gayside short story. Should be on the site by the time you hear this, called Higher Beings. It is NSFW, not safe for work. But, it is what it is. So again, you guys, thank you for listening. Oh, and if you would be so inclined, do me a huge favor and take that audience survey. It's bit.ly bit.ly/Gayside survey. So that's bit.ly/Gayside survey. Take the little survey, just helps me out, see what my demographics are and all of that kind of good stuff. Again, like I said, thank you for listening. And do not forget the lost commandment: thou shalt protect thy walls, or thou might fuck around and have an unhealthy sex life. You might fuck around and be with somebody who don't even want to lick your walls. And we are out of here. Bye, you guys.
Bye.